I'm
Dr. Syed Hamid Hashmi.
yes, I am getting, sir. I am okay. Thank you, Vakil sir. Good afternoon, all of you. I am Dr. Syed Hamid Hashmi, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Puno College of Arts Science Commerce, Camp Pune. I am presenting here the theme of the national webinar. The theme is to expose the negative and positive impact of COVID-19 on Indian economy on the various fields like financial institutions, educational institutions, transportation, agriculture sectors, industrial sectors, daily wages workers, industrials, laborers, and of course, revenue generated sectors, import and export business, banking sectors. These sectors are seriously affected by the novel coronavirus COVID-19, especially medical and health sectors. We are trying here to explain how we can face the current challenges and overcome from the present situations. As we know very well, the government of India, the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare said that unless and until the cure is out, we should try to maintain the social distancing and keep ourselves aware and hygienic during the pandemic situations. The most popular credit rate basing agency, Moody's, said that it is expected to see the 0% expansions in the current financial year in India. The former chief economic advisor, government of India, has said that India should prepare for a negative growth rate in financial year 2021, and that the countries could need rupees 710 lakh crores stimulus to overcome the pandemic situation. As far as unemployment is concerned, unemployment rate increased from 6.7% to 26% during this March 15 to 19 April. As estimated, the 140 million people lost their jobs during the lockdown period. As most of the surveys say that the Indian economy is expected to lose over 33,000 crores every day during the first 20 days of complete lockdown. To overcome the pandemic situations of COVID-19, the government of India has released rupees 17,287 crores to the different states. The government also just takes some steps to overcome the situations like
Hello.
the government recently introduced the government recently introduced the Arogya Setu mobiles applications to educate the citizens about the novel coronavirus. And the step second that the oil ministry spokespersons said that the poor households using the cooking gas cylinders will be entitled to free refilling in 3 months. That there are several steps government has taken to help out to the citizens of India. The third step is that the government has set up a chain of 20 lakhs retail shops called the Suraksha stores across India, which will provide the daily essentials to the citizens of India. The government has decided to double the collateral free loans account amount for the woman in self-help grouping to 20 lakhs. The Indian government also taking the steps. Government of India has released rupees 13,855 crores under the PM Kisan schemes to over 66 crores farmers all over the India to help them. And then next step to wages under the Manrega schemes to be hiked to rupees 200 from 180 to 200, and 2,000 extra 2,000 rupees paid to the workers to face these situations. And the last month, the finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced that the relief package of rupees 1.70 lakhs crore for COVID-19 outbreak. So, under a special provisions, the government has announced that the individual could now withdraw the 3 month employment provident fund accounts the aim is to coronavirus crisis. So these are the provisions taken by the government of India, and of course that many more schemes that government has released to overcome of these situations. Nearly 20 crores women's Jan Dhan accounts holders received the 500 rupees each as a help from the government to that. So this was the brief theme of this webinar. We will listen our speakers. Thank you very much. Over to Vakil sir.
Thank you, Dr. Syed Hamid Hashmi. Ashok, yes, sir is there. Sir is audible. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. Now we'll go to the next session. We have Dr. Chandran, Director Pillai Group of Institutions, Mumbai. I request Dr. Monica to please introduce the guest.
Thank you, Vakil sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the national webinar on economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic on India. As you all know, WHO has declared that although the threat of COVID-19 becoming an official pandemic has become very real, the world is, I quote, not at the mercy of the virus, unquote. And thus, we all are here to explore new perspectives with our eminent speaker, Dr. R. Chandran. Dr. Chandran has 40 years of industry and institutional experience with a perfect blend of teaching, training, and functional area experience. Dr. Chandran has traveled to more than 50 nations for business promotion and products and services, and he is closely associated with World Trade Center, Export Promotion Councils, FIEO, AMA, ECGC, Chambers of Commerce, and a majority of the trade promotion bodies in India. Dr. Chandran started his career as a senior professor in Somia Institute of Management Studies in 1983. Currently, Dr. Chandran is the director and mentor of the Pillai Group of Institutions, Mumbai. Now, I would request Dr. Chandran to continue with his topic, the focus beneficiary sectors in India to prosper through investments, employment, and competitive advantages in the post-corona devastations. I would now move on to Dr. Chandran. Welcome, Dr. Chandran.
Unmute yourself. Yeah.
It is indeed a great pleasure to sit around with a few of the illuminating faculty members who are having a major responsibility to groom the youngsters by updating knowledge information base. Indeed, I'm very much pleased with the organizers. Almost everyone is putting so much of efforts to enlighten the younger generation today. Coming to the topic, post-corona devastation and impact on Indian industry, especially in the field of trade, commerce, investment, and employment opportunities. One country's adversary is another country's advantage. If one country is having turbulent situation, it opens many doors for other countries. This is what all the economic theories are emphasizing from long years, from the period of Adam Smith. Here the point is, this corona is the first brand in the world. Past or present and future also, such kind of brand should not be established, whether positive or negative. Even the child of about 5 years up to the 90 years old man, everybody in the world over is talking about COVID-19. This is the impact it has created. But right from the beginning, one part may be the problem, right from the days of plague after the First World War, after the Second World War, any sort of devastation takes place, soon after this devastation, there may be a great opportunity for business. And today, it is our duty to congratulate Dr. Soumya Swaminathan to be the chief of the World Health Organization. India's great, all the parts of the world are looking up India as the idea generators, idea executors, and capable of building great brand image for the country. Never before, right from Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, Banka, everybody is in the advisory board of Donald Trump's administration today. That means India is capable of establishing country's brand image throughout the world. This is one part. The major opportunity for India is majority of the companies located in China are looking out or scouting out for some other destination for setting up business. Everybody knows the period of glory, period of prosperity changes every time. At the time of Second World War, whether IBM or many companies in America were known, then afterwards in the domain of four-wheelers, whether it is a Toyota or Mazda or Nissan or Daihatsu or Mitsubishi, all these Japanese companies started ruling. After some time, developing countries started emerging. Japanese were able to rule the whole world through one or two segments for about 40 years. From 1970s, later part of 1970s till today, it was giving ample amount of opportunities to Japanese to grow. Whether it is a soft toy or musical toy or any other luxurious item, right from plastic items up to bicycles, everywhere Chinese were dominating. This is the period India is taking up. Already, Japanese representative had given a great warning to China, stating that minimum about 1,500 companies should shift their manufacturing base from either Shanghai or Shenzhen or Guangzhou provinces or Beijing provinces. Somehow or other, it is not openly coming out, but there is one concept called feeling about one country, image perception about one country. We are not finding fault with China, but it has been understood by the whole world that Corona's origin is from China. Somehow or other, it had hidden the facts, and WHO never gave any sort of extra priority for it. With the result, lakhs and lakhs of people are either getting affected or thousands of people are losing their valuable life. What next? Here comes the opportunities for India. Everyone knows that India is a young country. Productive human assets are in abundance. Geographically, 3 sites are surrounded by seas. Gateway ports are available. Ideal location for manufacturing, particularly for European companies and North American companies, would be India. Whenever looking bright is one part, working for getting that brightness in our advantage is another major challenge. This is the time our Confederation of Indian Industry, Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries, and all the trade bodies, focused product bodies like auto sector, Automobile Manufacturers Association, and so on and so forth. Everybody should work together to give maximum impetus for all the companies located in China. Coming to the readily available opportunities for India. First is healthcare sector. Generally, healthcare could be classified into three important aspects: bulk drugs, formulations, disposables. We are so lucky that more than 150 countries have started importing our our latest anti-malarial product. And advanced countries have realized that India is a reliable and trustworthy supplier. Bulk drugs we were importing from China, maybe ibuprofen or it is paracetamol, and value addition was taking place in our country. It was again exported to different countries in the world, all the continents, of course. Fortunately, Indian companies are following good manufacturing practice. They have World Health Organization certification. Now, actual pharmaceutical ingredients are also available. Once upon a time, we totally depended on on China because of our cheap. Today, we are capable of producing everything. It has proved over the past about 1 month that Indian manufacturing practice, as well as capability to produce in huge quantity to take care of the whole world, it is known. So the first priority should be given to healthcare sector, particularly medicines. Already companies are scouting for it. Second industry is supply chain or value chain. Every human being's basic need is obviously food products. Indian agricultural segment cannot be overlooked. Whether it is dry agro items like rice, wheat, jowar, bajra, or it is a fresh items coming from the plant, whether fruits and vegetables, or processed, branded and value-added items. Everywhere India is having a major advantage. This is the time we have to look in seriously how to convert tomatoes into tomato ketchup, wheat and rice into powder, mangoes into mango pulp, onion into onion flakes. So much of value-added items could be available here. The major challenge is the supply chain. Supply chain is with the value chain. Today, all the households are having the concept of heat and eat. Companies are coming forward. The same kind of companies can extend right from ITC up to Haldiram's or Everest Masala or MDH. Large number of companies now they have to widen their activities to add value. Then making certain amount of tie-up with all the departmental stores around the world will enable them to achieve a great success. Third one is naturally logistics and supply chain, where huge number of human beings are going to be recruited. Our investment opportunities are also in plenty. Once the Japanese will start, obviously all the European companies will start, and few of the American companies are also ready. So whenever these companies are coming to our country as a great investment destination, we have to work out our formalities or all the operating mechanisms so simple for them. So far, India has been considered as easy to enter is difficult. Today, one state government has made the provisions for attracting foreign companies to come to that state. There will be a healthy competition amongst the states to attract investments, and each and everyone should compete to make the entrepreneurs develop confidence and come and set up the unit. So whenever they come here, for example, one experience of South Korean company Hyundai Motor has made another Kia Motor from the same country When both of them are coming on an average about 10,000 employment, about 20,000 employment opportunities are generated directly through OEM, original equipment manufacturing unit located there. But obviously quite a large number of other component manufacturing units would also crop up. So now already Indian auto sector, two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler sectors are quite comfortable. Now we have to strengthen, and mainly our gateway port, whether it may be Chennai, it may be Tuticorin, it may be Vizag, it may be Kakinada, it may be Mundrapo, just nearby places we have to set up these export-oriented units. Now government or the respective state governments should not keep any sort of bureaucratic hassles, procedural complications, and clean a clean way of doing business. We have to do, all the people should cooperate. So another sector, auto sector. Next comes investment. Naturally, any manufacturing unit also is coming with the investment. So when they invest millions of dollars, they expect that no hurdles will be there. So now the fourth category is job market. Everyone is talking about only negative aspect. The employment opportunities are dwindling day by day. Vast majority of the companies are not in a position to retain the employees. Please let us be positive. Out of 2,500 companies from the rest of the world, even 1,000 companies come to our country within 1,000 days. Average 2,000 employment opportunities will go to 1,000 multiplied by 2,000. So just imagine the amount of employment going to come to our country. Next is software or digital. This area already India is enjoying excellent competitive advantage. So far, they are restricted to either Bangalore, Electronic City, or Hinjawadi in Pune, or Mahape in Navi Mumbai, or Gurgaon. These kinds of places should be taken over by interior states. The infrastructure facilities if they provide, technically they have a good human resource. Same kind of software, instead of developing in Hinjawadi alone, one can develop in either Kanpur or in maybe Meerut, maybe in Indore. Location is not very important, but the comfort level is very important for them. Many engineering students are coming, about lakhs and lakhs of engineering students are coming out. They should be properly directed and trained in a particular domain. For the whole world, India should be the back office. It is possible. Limitation is right kind of job to right kind of companies through right kind of a human resource, human assets. Now, how to promote? It is to take all the data, team by team from every state government should go and sit in either Japan or in Malaysia, or Singapore, or in China. Take the data of how many industries are capable of continuing there itself, or how many companies are having a dilemma. Now, already few of the German companies, few of the European, UK-based companies have shown their interest to shift at any cost. It may be a great surprise to us. There are few people from Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, even Philippines have gone to China to request small companies to come and set up there. Are we prepared now, after post-COVID destruction or the damages? Next is economic development and finance. We have to make promotional campaigns, road shows in every part of China and lure the companies to come to India. Because India goodwill, India's brand image, nationwide brand image is quite positive. Everyone will be keen. Of course, there are certain limitations. Quickly making the policies to attract foreign companies, all the state governments should come forward. We have young population, we have global image, our banking system is in place, healthcare is on priority, FMCG, consumer goods are value-added agricultural products, very important for us. Software, we have advantages. Many essential items have good scope. Startups, this is the right time. Getting employed in one place. Startups would already, our policies are in place. During last budget, many encouraging components have been included in the announcement of the Finance Ministry. Taxes have come down from 35% in the corporate profits to 15% for startups. These are all certain positive signs. We are in a great country. We are so proactive. We have everything with us. Little bit of fine-tuning the policies, little bit of aggressiveness to attract will make India a real superpower. Further, about say 1 to 2 years, we may have certain problems in certain industries like travel and tourism. But medical tourism will pick up in a big way. But general leisure tourism will get a major problem. Airline industry may have certain problems. Luxurious items like perfumes, cosmetics, fashion garments may have problem. Basic clothing and other areas will pick up, but the luxurious areas may have certain disadvantages. Gem and jewelry sector, we may have some problems. Handicrafts and handlooms may have certain problems. But all these disadvantageous segments and the sectors could be easily compensated with just the first 4 sectors we have talked about. Our policy should be of a de-urbanization. All the units should be in the interior parts of the country because development should be balanced. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. During question and answer session, I'll be pleased to give our ideas, our opinion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. R. Chandaran. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
That was really very useful, and we hope it will be, the information you shared will be useful for us. Thank you very much, sir. That was Dr. R. Chandaran. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask through chat box. So we'll have question answer session. If you have any questions, please write your questions through chat box. Imran sir, please make sure the chat box is means people can write that. Okay. If we have any questions, then we'll get back to him. Now, Dr. Ashok Giri sir is here. I request sir to give the welcome address. Over to Dr. Ashok Giri sir.
Vakil sir, thank you so much. Due to some technical problems, I could not participate just 30 minutes before. First of all, a very warm good afternoon to everyone present today for this national level webinar. on economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic on India, jointly organized by VVM's Sri Damodar College of Commerce and Economics, Margo, Goa, and Bharti Jain Sangatna's Art, Science and Commerce College, Wagholi, Pune. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our esteemed speakers today, Mr. Rajiv Kumar Jena, Vice President, Bajaj Auto Limited, Pune, Dr. R. Chandran, Director, Pillai Group of Institutions, Mumbai, Mr. S. Sridhar, former General Manager, SBI Delhi, KVJ, Professor Dr. R. Ganeshan, Founder and Chairman, National Foundation of Entrepreneurship, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. Friends, we all know that COVID-19, this deadly virus has significantly changed the contours of professional and social life, altering human life on many aspects and paving a new way of perceiving in the post-pandemic world. The need of the hour is to think working models and lifestyles that will be easily adaptable to the situation that one would face in the post-academic era. The United Nations Trade and Development Agency has said that apart from the tragic human consequences, uncertainty has sparked with likely cost of global economy $1 trillion in 2020. VVM's Sri Damodar College, Madgaon, Goa, and Bharti Jain Sangatna's Arts, Science and Commerce College, Wagholi, Pune, have collaborated together to organize this national webinar on this current issue, economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic on India, to discuss and brainstorm on the impact of pandemic and its after effects in this endeavor. We are very grateful to the Pune College of Art, Science and Commerce and the Research Department of Pune College for their kind cooperation and consistent support. I would like to acknowledge hard work put in by the core team in order to organize this webinar successfully in such a short duration. Especially Dr. Preeta D. Malla, Principal, Sri Damodar College of Commerce and Economics, Margoa, Goa, and the generous support and motivation provided by Professor Dr. Aftab Anwar Sheikh, Principal, Anjumar Khairul Islam's Pune College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Pune, Maharashtra. Along with this convener of the webinar, Dr. Syed Hamid Hashmi, Coordinator, Dr. Rodney De Silva, Vice Principal, VVM Sri Damodar College of Commerce and Economics, Margoa, Goa, Coordinator Dr. Kishore Desarda, Vice Principal of BGS College, Wagholi, Pune, and kind coordination of Mr. Syed Wakil Ahmed and Mrs. Wafia Wahid from Pune College for their appreciable efforts. I extend my warm welcome to all in charge from the Bharti Jain Sangatna's Art, Science, Commerce College, Wagholi, Dr. Siddheshwar Gaikwad, Dr. Balwant Landge, and Associate Professor Deepak Anjar. I also welcome all heads of the departments of our college, our administrative staff members, and the all other supporting staff of our college. I feel privileged to welcome one and all for this national level seminar on economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic on India. We are indeed honored to have all of us here with us. This webinar will definitely give a direction to all, and I hope there will be excellent interaction during various sessions. This would give the participants enough to encouragement and provide key areas to the audience with research aptitude. I am very much grateful to you for being with us. Once again, I extend our heartiest welcome to you. And I hope that we will continue to have our blessings, good wishes, and wholehearted support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. That was Major Dr. Ashok Giri, sir, Principal, BGS College, Pune. Thank you, sir. I welcome all of you in national webinar on economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic on India. This webinar is organized by VVM's Damodar College of Commerce and Economics, Goa, and BGS College, Pune. Now, over to Dr. R. Chandaran. Sir, we have a couple of questions. First of all, your session is highly appreciated by the participant. We got a huge response, positive feedback from the participant. I thank all the participants. Sir, I have selected just 3 questions. There are a number of questions, but due to time limit, I have selected 3 questions.
Please.
The first question is that which sectors which are going to come after this pandemic? What are the prevailing sectors?
At this moment, competitive advantages India enjoys are endowed with and capable, comfortable healthcare sector. Number 2, agricultural sector. We are talking about agricultural sector because our raw materials are plenty. Despite of 2 months of problems, still nobody is going starving. Still we have sufficient stuff for feeding ourselves. Fruits, vegetables, tea, coffee, spices, cardamom, cashews, name, including poultry, milk and milk products. No other country can even imagine that kind of stocks we have, that kind of production capacity we have. Therefore, the whole world is going to consume. Even if endemic problems may continue for about 3 months, if more, still our people will not suffer for basic necessities. Third major area is logistics, supply chain. Fourth major sector is basic textiles, yarn, because there is going to be a major shortage throughout the world. So many spinning units can have that advantage. These 4 sectors at this moment, I can vouch for it. 5th sector, as it is, we are having certain best advantages software, where it is whole, totally human interactive and a human oriented asset. These are all the 4 sectors, there are 5 sectors we can think of. Second question, please.
The second question is that what are the opportunities which are going to be made available in education? Opportunities in education.
Yes. Opportunities in education, already we are overflooded. The technical institutions are plenty. Management institutions are also capable of producing many in numbers. Our focus should be on supplying proper trained manpower, not only to India alone. There are so many Latin American countries, so many African countries, so many Southeast Asian countries where they need right kind of skillful, smart, skillful, talented, and knowledgeable manpower is required there. Therefore, India should emerge as the best hub for good education, particularly technical education. The movement is going on now. Just 5-6 years ago, all were right from NASCAM or any organization used to blame the institutions or blame the students that more than 79% or 81% of the students are unemployable and they are not having industry relevant inputs with them. This will fly away. Now institutions are competing. They are trying to produce good output. Therefore, education sector, it is remaining, quality ones will survive. Those who are producing smart students will survive. They do not need scholarly qualities of the students. They need smart people to do business and generate revenue for companies. And we have to make the students to go and operate, work in other countries. This is my opinion. Third question, please.
Thank you very much, sir. The last question is that what are the possible ways or path from which we can recover this economy? How we can control this economy? What are the possible ways? What are the solutions?
Lead the economy. Transform the economy, right?
Yes, sir. Transform the economy. Yes, sir.
Good. If I am understanding correctly, okay, fine. It is going to take a small pinch for more than 1 year. Now, this pandemic put our productivity, our efforts at least about 1 year behind. About 6 or 7 weeks of non-working environment. Even though we talk about sitting at home or doing, it's not applicable to agriculture. It's not applicable to manufacturing units. These are all merely just a self-satisfying effort, work at home. So this was not happening means it was not happening. We are safest economy for so many years, keeping GDP more than about 5%. This year it may come down. When many of the European countries or few of the Southeast Asian countries were on reverse gear, our country was able to manage more than about almost positive GDP. That itself is a great achievement. Any country which is capable of feeding the masses is successful economy at this moment. So the basic necessities like roti, kapda, or makan, these we are comfortable. We need not have to bother. But definitely the next stage is going to be a major boom to India first. All the other countries will be later. So we will recover within a couple of years. Of course, 2 years will take. But for US, Spain, France, even any other country, Gulf country, it may take a long time, but we will recover within about 2 years. We can come to 7 or 8% GDP within a couple of years. Let us go with this positive approach. And we are expecting also good companies to come in, either in the form of FII or in the form of foreign direct investment or through joint ventures or some collaborative ventures with our country, or at least making manufacturing base in India. Just like Chinese were the back office for many European and American companies, the same way we have to make India as the back office for many Western countries. If we do that, it is possible. If we do that, definitely we will recover our economy. That is the discussion with many of our experts and all the semi-government bodies. Just we are coming to this. Let us be positive. Let us be hopeful. Of course, the whole world is moving through positive opinion, and it will take place definitely. Fourth question, sir.
No, only 3 questions, sir. There are more questions, but due to time limit, so we have to stop here. Sir, we are getting huge response from the audience that they are liking your session. Thank you, sir, for gracing the session. Thank you for your words of wisdom. Now we'll move ahead.
Due to time constraints, I could not read both the institutions, the host institutions. I'm so grateful. All the luminaries, experts are here on the screen. I'm very, very happy. I'm indeed very grateful. Knowledge is universal property. Everywhere it should get percolated. All the youngsters should be encouraged. This is our generation's appeal to younger generation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, we have got more than 200 positive feedbacks about your session, that it was wonderful. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Anytime I'm available. My email ID is there.
Yeah. We have some more questions. So please write your queries, your questions at your official email ID. And we will definitely get back to you. Thank you very much, sir. That was Dr. R. Chandaran. Now we'll have the next speaker, Mr. S. Sridhar. He is the former General Manager, SBI Delhi. I request Dr. Gulal Kari. Ma'am, please formally welcome the guest.
Thank you, sir. Very good afternoon to all for this national level webinar on COVID-19. It's my great pleasure to introduce Honorable Mr. Yas Sridhar Sir, former General Manager, SBI. Mr. Sridhar Sir completed his UG and PG education from Ferguson College and Gokhale Institute, Pune. He has scored the highest marks in economics in BA and he has got third rank in MA for economics subject. He joined after completion of his PG education. He joined the State Bank of India as a probationary officer in 1980 and retired in 2018 as a general manager. After retirement, he had many responsibilities by SBI. He traveled to more than 50 nations. He has 14 years of industry and institutional experiment with perfect blend of teaching, training, and functional area. Currently, he is involved as a director and mentor in MGMT Institute affiliated to Mumbai University. Such an eminent personality is present in between us. I requested to Mr. S. Sridhar sir to deliver a lecture. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Firstly, good afternoon to all of you, and thanks to the organizers of this seminar for inviting me to be a participant, or rather speaker. And definitely it's a matter of honor for me to share my views with you. So I have a small presentation, so I will switch to that presentation so that we can go with that. So I hope all of you can see the presentation. Yes?
Yes.
Right. So I am going to speak to you on the impact of the current pandemic on Indian banking sector and what are some of the strategies that can be thought of for this. So firstly, the immediate impact of this pandemic, or the initial impact, has been the disruption of working of the branch channel and all business which is delivered to branches. So many of you might have first-hand experience of this. Customers are not able to go to the branch due to lockdown, and many staff are also not able to go to the branch due to this same lockdown. So there is disruption in the working of the branch channel, and this has resulted in the business through branch being affected quite severely, because all the new deposits or new loan cases which are dealt with at branch, they have taken a backseat, or there it's not possible to do it. Now, subsequently, what will happen if the pandemic worsens over the next few months? What we can expect to be the impact on banking? First, probably there will be a slowdown in the deposit growth rate due to the loss of incomes and revenues. Because people will not have income, they will not get credit in their accounts, so the deposits will not grow. The companies and institutions who rely on income for depositing in the bank, they will also lose their income and they will also not be able to deposit. So the deposit growth will slow down. If this continues for longer period, probably there will be actually a reduction in deposits levels, because people will be drawing this deposit down for financing their consumption or medical expenses. Companies will need to pay salaries, maintenance expenditure, etc. So probably they will all draw down their deposits. So the second stage, you can say, is the reduction in deposit levels. Similarly, in the loan side also, there will be initially a slowdown in the loan growth, because demand for credit will reduce. People are not doing business, their business has closed down. So nobody will be wanting to borrow or having a necessity to borrow. And again, this will also be in a second stage, followed by reduction in loan levels due to reduced demand for credit. People will not be putting up new projects, and the existing working capital loans, etc., will get paid off since the working capital cycles have been interrupted. there will be no demand for fresh loans. So probably due to the repayment of loans, of working capital and other short-term loans, there will probably be a loan level reduction. Now, this would result definitely in the overall deterioration in the financial health of banks, due both to impairment of the existing interest income, because banks make money by charging loans, interest on loans, and paying interest on deposits. The difference is the bank's money. If both the advances or loans and deposits both go down, that interest income generated will also go down. Secondly, there will also be a problem of your what is called as disintermediation due to erosion of the asset quality and stoppage of the some other businesses which are related to this, like LC, BG, etc. So due to this deterioration, yes, ma'am. Hello. Hello. You want video on? Oh, okay, okay, one second. Yeah. So what will happen is that now, sorry, yeah. So there will be a deterioration in the overall financial health of the banks due to impairment of both net retained income and deterioration of the asset quality. Many of the businesses which have shut down or going through stress in this pandemic will have a problem that they are not able to repay their existing loans. So this will create a problem for the bank also. Then there is another contagion effect. There could be a sort of financial pandemic as well, because many banks are interrelated to each other. Banks not only lend to companies, but they also lend to other financial institutions, which in turn lend to companies. If these other financial institutions like NBFCs, like housing finance companies, etc., have borrowed from banks, they troubles. They also have the same problem of the asset quality, and therefore you have a problem that this contagion may spread to throughout the financial sector. So this is sort of end stage where the whole financial sector will become under threat. So this is all obviously contingent on if the pandemic goes on, right? Financial pandemic contagion effects. Now, what is the data saying? Let us have a look at some data. See, the latest data or the most recent data which is available, frequent data which is available, is the RBI's weekly statistical supplement, which comes every week or every fortnight rather. And here what I have done is that I've gone to the RBI site and extracted few key highlights for February 28th, which we can say that the epidemic or pandemic has started there. March 27 and April 24, which is the latest available data. So we are about 2 months into the pandemic, let us say, or 2 months into the lockdown, or 1.5 months into the lockdown. And let us see whether anything has happened, whether any of these symptoms have started appearing. First, you can see that aggregate deposits of the banks, are in trillions of rupees or lakhs crore rupees, which was 133 in February 28, grew to 136 in March 27. In April, it has become 137, which means that there is a deceleration in the growth of deposits which is seen. Similarly, borrowings from Reserve Bank have become almost triple, from 1 trillion to about 3 trillion, which means that the banks are drawing money from or borrowing from the Reserve Bank. Reserve Bank has made available a lot of credit lines, so probably banks are borrowing it. So this one symptom seems to appear, deceleration in the growth of deposits. Now let us go to advances side, where you have cash in hand balances with RBI. They are by and large the same. There is some drawdown of the balances with RBI. Now you can see that the bank credit has actually become negative, in the sense that there is a negative growth in the bank credit. As we said, stage 2 type of event seems to have happened, because the bank loans have gone down by about 1 trillion rupees as between March 27 and April 24. So it seems that the symptom for bank credit has become, the second stage symptom has come. But cash in hand has also been drawn down. This is also indicating that banks are drawing money. But investment has gone up by almost 3 trillion rupees, which means that, and most of this investment is in government securities, which means that apparently there seems to be no demand for credit. So the banks are being hit more on the advances side apparently. As regards asset quality and the further symptoms, this will take time to show up. because we can only rely upon the quarterly results as and when they come. So we will not know this position till next quarter results are out, because March quarter results will probably not have the full impact or very minimal impact of the pandemic. Now, this is what the statistics is saying, but we must watch this space, because one cough does not make a pandemic or a COVID infection. Maybe it will improve later, which means that the symptoms are not so bad. But definitely we need to watch this space or watch these statistics to make sure whether the problem is worsening or it is a sort of temporary symptom. Now, moving on, there are some silver linings. First is the robust digital channels for payment and banking. Now, banks have been working very hard in the last few years to improve the digital channel, and it is very likely that most people do not need to visit branch to do their basic banking transactions. So this channel, although branch channel is suffering, this particular digital channel is up and running. So there is no problem with this channel, and most of the banking requirements, emergency requirements at least, are being met. Then banks have been cleaning up their balance sheet since last 2-3 years, and their capital position and their financial health is better than it was 1 or 2 years back. Banks are slightly better equipped to deal with this pandemic now rather than they were 1 or 2 years back. Secondly, or thirdly, we have a very proactive regulator in the Reserve Bank, and the Reserve Bank enjoys excellent rapport with the government, because at these times of crisis, you cannot have friction amongst these various regulators, which will create problems for everybody. But now, because of this particular, currently we are blessed with a good coordination, and the actions RBI has taken are definitely helping the banks and making sure that there is a sort of dampening of the adverse effect of the pandemic. Public sector banks still command the heights of the economy. Major business is through public sector banks, and with the push for financial inclusion in the last few years, the reach has improved very much, even to the poorest sections of society. So if the government wants to do any financial intervention to help the COVID affected, banks are well placed to deliver. They're having a very good reach and delivery channel and digital and physical and ATMs and so on and so forth. And they are not purely profit oriented. So definitely the government can expect that the social greater good will be a more guiding factor to these banks, which will be a precondition for success of any such financial intervention the government may be thinking of. Further, the economic disruption which we are observing seems to be less in the agriculture sector and rural areas. Actually, there is no data or news, but definitely no news seems to be good news. It seems that from some reports that the agricultural harvest operations and procurement operations seem to be going on okay. And as Sir said, the food supply and everything seems to be all right. So this economic disruption may be a bit limited to certain sectors which are highly reliant on physical labor only. Next, we come to strategies what can be used. What should the regulators think of here? I am not going to describe any specific strategy, but certain guiding principles for formulating the strategy may be useful to reiterate or emphasize. First is that there should be timely review of existing policy measures, as also new policy measures to be decided. Timely review is because there is what market or banks hate is uncertainty. Now, for example, there are certain concessions or forbearances, some concessions, forbearances which have been given up to 31st May. But whether these will be extended. So if it's going to be extended, we should be told, the bank should be told well in time so that they are able to implement it, and there is no gaps, policy gaps or vacuums should not develop. That is one very important thing in these times. Secondly, perhaps the regulators may have to look more closely at whether the banks are transmitting the measures to the intended beneficiaries. Many times there have been a lot of complaints that the reduction in interest rate is not passed on. Some scheme is developed but not implemented. But here we cannot afford such kind of system problems. So transmission must be ensured, and perhaps the regulator may have to push a little bit to ensure that it is transmitted. Then The ensuring smooth operation of financial markets and infrastructure, especially the digital channels, remittance mechanism, and settlement and payment mechanisms, particularly in the context where branch banking is suffering disruption. So if people are not able to send money to their loved ones or draw money from various places, draw down their savings, then definitely the impact of this COVID will be multiplied manifold, and the regulator must ensure that this doesn't happen. Then perhaps the regulator will have to think outside the box and maybe look at very unconventional strategies also if this epidemic persists further, because drastic measures will be required to bring the economy back on its feet, and even before that, to help people who are already affected during the pandemic. So even during the lockdown, there will be a lot of stresses, and definitely new products may have to be thought of. Maybe perhaps, in fact, I read in the newspaper today that credit guarantee schemes, etc., for giving loans to pandemic affected people are being considered. So this is a good trend, and definitely we will have a sort of guidance from the regulators, which will help the banks to help the people in turn. Now, as far as banks are concerned, banks should basically, their strategy should be to effectively transmit various schemes which are evolved by the government and which are dependent on banks for delivery. The bank's boards may also make some concessions and products which should also be transmitted to the beneficiaries and well informed, because many times there are many schemes drawn up on paper, but the ultimate beneficiary never comes to know, or the last mile delivery point also doesn't know anything about this. This kind of inefficiency, as I said, in these particular times are very critical and should be avoided. The delivery times for various loan products, deposit products, etc., daily products must be improved, and it should not take ages to get basic products. So the delivery of banks' products and services should be improved to the extent possible. And since people are now relying more and more on digital channels, banks should aim to put more and more services on digital channel and ensure 100% uptime so that there is no disruption in this channel at least. And also have full security, because this is a time of great security threat, lot of cyber crooks in the background, and therefore security measures also should be clearly focused on. New products, services, delivery channels for the affected customer during the pandemic and also in the recovery stage. These are again very important things to be done. And definitely, since this is not a financial sector problem, the innovation has to be in the real sector. So this is a real sector problem coming into the financial sector. So financial solutions may not be fully effective, but to the extent that they are useful, they must supplement the real solutions and act as a supplement and not as a obstruction to the delivery of the real solutions to the economy. So that is the end of my presentation. If there are any questions, you can please go ahead. My email ID I have given here, which you can note down, and please feel free to mail me if you have any query on this topic. I will do my best to attempt them. Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you, sir. That was Mr. S. Sridhar. Thank you for guiding us, sir. So we have some questions, but due to shortage of time, we'll take the next session. And if we get time, we'll have question answer session at the end.
Right.
So thank you, sir. Now we move to the next speaker, KVJ Professor Dr. R. Ganesan. Sir is the founder and chairman of National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. I request Dr. Sanjay Gaikwad, sir, to kindly formally introduce the guest.
Good afternoon. I'm very happy to introduce the speaker of this webinar, Karmavir Jyoti, Professor Dr. R. Ganesan. He earned his doctorate from the reputed IIT Delhi, the special focus.
कसं एक आईच आहे मग म्हटलं तुम्ही फोन लावा जरा लोटून पोलीसला आलो.
All the participants, please kindly mute yourself. All the participants, please kindly mute yourself. Kindly close your video.
आमची खाली माप काढतो ना बसल्या बसल्या आम्ही सटतो त्याला
Audible now?
Yes, yes. All the participants kindly mute yourself. Kindly stop your video. All the participants, those who are not able to watch us properly due to any technical problem, kindly watch on YouTube link. Through YouTube link. You can watch us on YouTube. Please go ahead, Sanjay Gakwad, sir.
I'm very happy to introduce a eminent personality, Karmavir Jyoti, Professor Dr. S. Ganeshan. He earned his doctorate from the reputed IIT Delhi with a special focus on entrepreneurship development. He possesses more than 2 decades of research experiences in the field of entrepreneurship and management. He has served in a different academia ranging from deemed universities in engineering colleges, arts and science colleges, B schools, and international universities. He has more than 70 research contributions in his credit, which are published in refereed and index journals, books, chapters, monograph, and conferences. He is a global author in women entrepreneurship, whose research papers are listed in Google Scholar and indexed in ISI, MLA, Citation, Scopus, etc. He has authored 2 books on women entrepreneurship development and insurance management, which have been published at Germany. He is serving an editorial member and reviewer of numerous journals and possesses more than 17 years of editorial experiences. He has edited more than 400 research papers in his credit across refereed and indexed journals, conferences, and book chapters at national and international level. He has hosted 3 refereed and indexed conferences and hosted 13 faculty development programs focusing on research and development and entrepreneurship development program at national level. He is the founder and chairman of the renowned National Foundation of Entrepreneurship Development, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. He has delivered more than 100 sessions on research and development, entrepreneurship, marginal skills, career social transformation services through upgrading development. He has been conferred with the prestigious title Karmavir Jyoti by Indian Conference of Non-Government Organization, New Delhi on 22nd March 2015. He has received Lifetime Achievement Award in Researcher and Scholar Icon 2017, powered by ICPL, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. He is a recipient of PFLA Excellence Award for his outstanding service to education and entrepreneur community from People First Leadership Academy, Bengaluru. He has been conferred with Order of the Eminence, the hosted honor for his global contribution to research, teaching, and training in entrepreneurship development by the Presidium of conferred with the coveted MTC Global Distinguished Teacher Award in the Entrepreneurship Development in 2019 by Management Teacher, that is MTC Global in 9th World Education at Karnataka. Today, his topic on impact of entrepreneurship and need in academia and industry. Welcome, sir. I request you to deliver your news.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay, for a very established note and excellent note. Thank you, and a very good evening to all the conference delegates and distinguished speakers of this conference. Very kind of you for the introduction. Let me go quickly through the slides. Can you share it? Yeah, you can see my topic is all know that impact of entrepreneurship and need in academia and industry. If you talk about academia and industry, Academia is one such, it's a social enterprise, and majority of the academia are coming under the social enterprises. And industry, it's a business enterprise. So now we are going to talk about the impact of entrepreneurship on what sort of a need we have to come over in taking some precautionary measures to cope up the entrepreneurship momentum in a country like India, which is developing in nature. That is the intention of this my presentation here today. Next slide.
Right arrow. Arrow, right arrow. Keyboard.
Hello. Are you seeing my slides? Are you seeing my slides?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah. There's some order stop, so that's why I wanted to confirm.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
If you see the economic impact, you can see the pre-pandemic, pandemic, and post-pandemic. You might question me why you have taken a pre-pandemic. Pre-pandemic, something, before the situation of this particular thing, corona disaster. What is the shape of the entrepreneurship in a country like India? Even despite of so many schemes which is coming under the Startup India, Stand Up India, so many schemes are there, but still we cannot see a vigorous change in the entrepreneurial area, because I am seeing as an entrepreneurial facilitator for a very long time and trying to create an entrepreneurial cult across the nation. So that is the pre-pandemic stage. Already we are in some sort of a setback in sort of entrepreneurship. We'll talk about entrepreneurship development across the entire India. Now pandemic situation. We come to the pandemic stage, totally lockdown, and we are all at our homes and doing the work. But we didn't. We can see the academia started the online classes in the mid or end of April. We are not prepared to handle the session. On many of the academia have been postponed. See, talk about entrepreneurship. Why I am talking about academia? Because academia is a place where the entrepreneurship inputs are happening. The pumping out of the students from the B schools, from engineering colleges, from the varsities. That talks about the situation of keeping updated themselves with the academic activities in the regular stream, and which has been totally dormant in the period of pandemic situation. Now we talk about, I'm just giving a briefing about these three things. Post-pandemic stage, and there are so many speakers before me as cited something about the reviving of the economy and all those things. Yes, I do agree with that. It is going on for at least 1 year. The status quo will not be changed. But whether we are in the 1 year, are we going to come back to the normal stage? Forget about the growth, forget about the extraordinary development on entrepreneurship. Whether we are going to sustain this particular post-pandemic situation and to bring back to normalcy, that itself needs a lot of entrepreneurial pool of people to come into this entrepreneurial domain. That is what is my argument. So how to go about it? What is the section? Right. What's not coming? So you can see the academia measures. What sort of a measures? You can question me later after this presentation whether these measures are already existing or non-existent. So that is not the question, but you just see what's happening in the academia. What sort of measures we have to take, such as conducting the research orientation to faculties and students. This is what they're doing a lot of times. But what happens? Instituting the right FDPs with the external and competent bodies. Frequently, it is not happening. It is happening in intermittent way. This is one thing. And it has to go frequently henceforth after this post-pandemic period. Creating a specific rubrics for skill development. That is a regulation which is to be highlighted for particularly on the skill development. There are so many academic courses in a lot of academic institutions, but still the people who are coming out are not up to the mark to the expectations of the corporate. That's why the employability is such a question. And forget about entrepreneurship is a bigger challenge for them to become an entrepreneur. And infusing the required skills through skill-based education. Now only we are talking about skill-based education in the past, I can say 3-4 years, we can speaking about this particular. You can also know that the schemes like PMKVY and all. And these schemes talks more about, it talks about more about that creating an employment generation, youth employment growth, all those. But in reality, are these things are happening? So that is one thing. But if you talk about that, the approach is also to be changed. But actually, the skill-based education has to be infused in totality in all the academia. So That is number point number 3. And enabling an online environment. Now only we are talking more about these Zoom conferences and all not happening. But a lot of conferences have not been scheduled as the way happening now in this period of lockdown or post-pandemic period. It's not happening the pre-pandemic period. So where the lot of skill learning concepts and gap filling requirements are all to happen in a holistic way, such a way that the academic can be improvised. Imparting entrepreneurial skills for employability, meeting the future entrepreneurial requirements, and frequently conducting the workshops, training seminars, conferences, including the e-workshops and e-conferences. If these things have been prepared earlier, these e-workshops and e-conference might have been a source of input for all the people, all the student workforces who are at the lockdown. They might have been somewhat improvised in this period. Go to the second slide. So partnering with the experts and our expert panels for the real-time and collective learning. What happens in the academia is the teaching pedagogy goes on one side and the industrial expectation goes on the other side. The teaching pedagogy is not at all synchronized to the industrial, happenings, and that should be changed. These are all the measures to be taken as a war-footing step to go and cope up with the normalcy. We talk about normalcy, to bringing back to normal life of what we had before the pandemic situation, and inducting faculties in industry to foster research and development, entrepreneurship teaching and incubation activities. Industrial visits formalities should be avoided because many of the academic colleges are doing only industrial visits as a formality. So the impact of entrepreneurship will go down in the post-pandemic period to be a real serious issue to some of the industries might have been closed. What are the industries which are existing, when small or medium or large, that visits to be periodical and not as a sightseeing trips on the academic side should be maintained. So that in that way that the seriousness will come into the picture, because all the academic people have to be very serious in this stage to impart their studies, because there is a lot of setbacks and they have to cope up with the UGC directions from September onwards. And this should be in a full-fledged stream. Beyond this academic compliance, this should be taken into consideration. We talk about reviving the entrepreneurial zeal to the entire India to come back to normalcy after 1 year, 1 or 2 years or so. And making the e-cell, incubation cell, industrial partnership cell are more operative than having its mere existence. There are so many cells in different colleges, but what they are doing, I don't know. Reality is, whenever I go to many of the colleges and these schools and all, their cells are non-functional to maximum possible extent. So to the large extent, they should be functional in after this post-pandemic period to talk about the entrepreneurship, because people also having a notion that whether the entrepreneurship do exist, but in a way, if you do so, you are creating an enterprising quality amongst the youngsters. That is very important, because India is totally 50% more than population, so totally belonging to the young population. So they are the future ray of hope of India to talk about economic development or holistic global development, whatever you talk about, positioning India as one of the great G7 countries or whatever. So performance appraisal for faculties have to be based on the competitive activities in terms of research, teaching, and shaping employable workforces. And grading of students can include self-paced learning. The self-paced learning is one of the important thing, because in this lockdown period, even we are having another 1.5 months time to go for the active academia. So people can, even still the academic people can think about giving some exercises and evaluating people on the self-paced learning. Okay, our online courses are already existing. Online evaluation is already into the process now for the previous semesters, for the consecutive semesters, consecutive academic activity. These things will help them to do that. Next slide. So if you come to industrial measures is business enterprise. So what the industry has to do in this situation to make sure that the industry is going to exist with the competitive workforces in the industry. So if you talk about frequently interfacing with the academia on advancements, that is what is not happening. Industry is expecting something on skill development, but not on talking about interfacing with the advancements. What's happening in the industry, something to be given as a eye opening, because this is applicable more so in the rural academia. Because in the rural academia is one thing which is totally dormant out of what's happening in the city. Semi-urban or urban areas are more well-versed with the sort of impact of entrepreneurship, impact of this pandemic period. But what about the rural places? So that should be taken into consideration. Conducting open awareness programs on online and live sessions on Indian and global business area. Like you talk about now, even the previous speakers have highlighted about the China's case, and you talk about the United States, you talk about the European case. So what sort of impact these countries in terms of education and society have to talk about the bringing back to the normalcy. That is important. So that sort of a thing has to happen. Has to happen by through these sort of online sessions to talk about some MNCs, giving an idea about what sort of a global crisis we are in right away and what sort of expectations to happen in the post-pandemic period. So internship for faculties towards pragmatism. So most of the times we can always see the students have been inducted towards this industry to talk about this sort of industrial awareness and doing the projects and all. I feel that the faculties have to go to the industry now, to go for at least 1 or 2 months to understand what's happening in the industry and to take that message or take that output of the industry to go as an input to the academia and teach them and groom the students towards talking about the employability and to become an entrepreneur or something like that. So preparing the student workforces to become enterprising, that is one of the biggest tasks for the industry. Fostering the youth workforces towards employability by encouraging learn work part-time opportunities. So that is also indirectly a motivation to the student community in the academia to come back to the industry to know what's indirectly happening, also to sustain themselves. These are all the self-precautionary measures what we have to do, and encouraging the seed funding and supporting research projects beyond CSR, because CSR is a formality again. So beyond CSR, industries have to think about interdependency at this stage. Every industry is interdependent only, and every academia is interdependent on the industry. So the output becomes an input to the industry, and again the output of the industry becomes again to the society, giving the employment opportunities. So indirectly for triggering the scientific and entrepreneurial acumen. Next slide. So actions for it. What sort of things we are not prepared in before this pandemic period, that is to be taken into consideration for future disasters if anything is going to happen in the near future, in the ways to come, the years to come. So mental preparedness towards impact of natural disaster and enabling community environment. So like conducting these sort of classes, these sort of orientation programs, webinars, seminars, whatever, through the online media, and making people should be reached immediately. That is one thing which has not happened in the case of Corona. There are so many buttons here and there to on and off, but not a holistic activity has taken place to keep us alert towards the situation and keep the academia to be on alert mode, or to be the industry to be in alert mode, which has not taken place. And the government should think about this sort of a thing. And basically, as a mental preparedness is very, very important. And planning in anticipation to situations and taking conscientious steps for reviving socio-economic development by central and state governments. Central and state governments have to now revive the policies. These policies, whatever they made earlier before the pre-pandemic period, is okay, but not to the expectation. Pandemic situation has now necessitated the policies have to be revived in totality. What sort of a development, what sort of a liberal cause they are going to address on the academic side, and what sort of liberal things they are going to, liberalization they are going to do with the industrial side. Because that is how it can bring back the normalcy. And adopting relevant coping styles to reduce functional anomalies. Functional anomalies are more, actually, that is one of the things why this pandemic period is taken very seriously, and which is already affected the entrepreneurial domain altogether across the world, and more in India also. Already the 5 years back itself, the entrepreneurship domain has been crushed, where small industries have been not picking up in the entrepreneurial domain. But now it is in totality, the entrepreneurial domain is questioned. Though the innovative ideas are there, how to go about it. The functional irregularities are more. And that's why these things are going to take an effect on the entrepreneurial domain. So creating and promulgating academia entrepreneurial networks. That is one possible idea which you can think about the actions for it. Whatever is said, whatever has happened in the previous stages or all, we have to skip it. And we are taking corrections on the base on the failures, what we have seen so far, and taking corrections to stand successfully in the near future for interdependent survival, existence, and sustenance. And creation of user-friendly and or trivial ways, not tedious ways. We can see the registration of enterprise itself is becoming a very big task. Now we can see the post-pandemic period, there are some lockdowns are relaxed, but still the enterprise registration is not happening. So there are so many entrepreneurs who have made up their mind to start the enterprise before this, after the March, after the financial year, but a lot of entrepreneurs have been totally upside down, toppled down because of this thing. And there are very many interested people who are waiting for that to happen, but still the registration is not happening. So the promote business aspirants, this way is to be very, very trivial and user-friendly to go about it. So introducing some scholarship for potential students into the entrepreneurial activities by academia industry. And this is not happening because the scholarship is meant for education. Scholarship is meant for some other purpose, for going abroad and doing some advanced research and all. but it is not for the entrepreneurial activities to do any entrepreneurship research, something like that, to understand what is the need, what is the market potential for any product, and creating incentives or scholarships for potential students into incubation activities by academia and industry. These are all the responsibilities of both academia and industry together to do that, because one is a social enterprise, another is a business enterprise. The social enterprise is to survive, the business enterprise to be there. The business enterprise to be existing, the social enterprise is very much indispensable in a society. So rejuvenating small entrepreneurial base to meet up the youth employment crisis through skill development training. And finally, changing the target approach to action approach, because so many governmental programs are into the process, into the field, but the target approach is always there. This is we are seeing for very many years since the first 5-year plan period itself. So come to the action approach, how many people are converted really into the employability or becoming an entrepreneur? If you talk about any schemes, Mudra scheme or any scheme, if you talk about how many entrepreneurs are really generated out of this thing, what are the statistics exactly, how many years they're sustaining, what sort of follow-up you're doing. In that way only we can able to talk about entrepreneurship development programs and policies under the ministries of central government and state governments to tap the growth of youth employment. Because if the entrepreneurs are there, only the employment is possible. The youth employment is based on the number of entrepreneurs who are emerging up. Existing entrepreneurs are all outnumbered when we talk about a country like India where a population is 1.32 billion. So that is important. Next slide. So entrepreneurship this way is going to become a successful to bring back to normalcy. I cannot say a growth. The normalcy can happen if you're going to quickly revive these things in the process, both in the academia and industry, to face this impact and to create an impact, to create a conversion on this impact towards somewhat something called a growth to happen over a period of time, to bring back to normalcy of what we are existing in the early wake of 2020. My greatest concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with the failure is Abraham Lincoln's statement. I always say fail to learn success. We have failed enormously to beat this corona pandemic in the situation which has started in November itself. Somehow we are all reviving now. Somehow we are all coming back to the normalcy. I think it will take some shade, take more the time, more than I can say another 2 months also. If you talk about North India, some of the South India also got affected. So the bringing back to the pavilion, back to the originality takes at least September to October. So whatever we have learned out of this failure, it should be a lesson for all of us to see to the future disaster to not to affect us, affect our regular routines, and to go for successful works of life. And finally, I thank all the organizers of this entire webinar. And for the chance which is given to me, especially Professor Aftab Anwar Sheikh, Principal of Pune College of Arts and Science, and other associate institutions for giving me the chance to present before you. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. That was KVJ Professor Dr. R. Ganesan. Thank you, sir. Your session was very nice. Sir, I'm very happy to inform you that we got a very good positive response on our Telegram group. And through chat, we are getting very positive response. It's really highly appreciated by the participants. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I quote, "We teach commerce, but we don't teach business," unquote. That was quoted by our principal, Dr. Aftab Anwar Sheikh. So really, your session will help us to think about that, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Due to shortage of time, we are not having question answer session. We'll move to next session. Now we have our keynote speaker, Mr. Rajiv Kumar Jena. He is the Vice President, Bajaj Auto Limited, Pune. I request Dr. Kishore Desada to please formally introduce the speaker. Over to Dr. Kishore. I request all the participants to kindly mute and stop your video. We'll have our photo session after the keynote speaker ends his speech. I'm really sorry that we don't have much time to have the question answer session right now. Over to Dr. Kishore.
Should I start now? Excuse me. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah, okay. You tell me when to start, I'll start.
Wait, sir. Wait a minute, sir. Wait a minute.
We'll have Dr. Kishore Desada to formally introduce.
Hello, Dr. Kishore.
All right, if I can start off. My introduction can be given towards the end, not a problem.
Yes, sir. Sir, please start, sir.
Let me start. Yeah, let me start. Okay, I have to share now.
Sir, wait a minute. It's my pleasure to introduce Raju Kumar Jena, sir. He is very much passionate about the technology. He has experience in two major engineering sectors in the Indian industry, aerospace and automotive, and NITN from Rourkela, 17th batch management trainee topper in the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, with simultaneously topping MTech in aerospace production engineering from IIT Chennai. He has handled wide spectrum of manufacturing practices in production, assembly, and overhauling of fighter jet engines of MiG variant. He was an early adopter of CNC machining with a post-graduation diploma in business management from Xavier's Institute of Management. A shift to Greenfield project from Bajaj Auto happened. Xavier Institute of Management study gave perspective on the finance, IT, marketing, sales, and the operations. The Greenfield at Chakan was first of its kind, inspired by Japanese culture and Toyota production system to usher in the new era of the transformation in Bajaj Auto. He has handled establishing aluminum shop, pen shop, and final assembly shop, seeded a culture of brotherhood, supervisor-less shop floor, and total productive maintenance way of living in manufacturing. He became an integral member of most transforming project called Bajaj 110 at Bajaj Auto, leading business process re-engineering in manufacturing process so as to implement SAP and begin the journey of IT-led transformation. Jena sir was also part of National Apex body of Auto DX project constituted by CM, Society of Indian Automotive Manufacturers, and ACMA, that is Automotive Component Manufacturers Association. He is an early adopter of blockchain in the supply chain, handled the sustenance and growth with a very thin, lean staff of 8 to 10 members, well supported by a team. His CV is very huge. I have taken few of the glimpses. Sir, I welcome on the behalf of the organizing colleges for this webinar. Over to you, Jena sir, please.
Thank you so much. You read out the thing. It's very small compared to be in the August of all the professors here. Sorry, I joined a little late. Just the last presentation I could see, and that was one of my passion also, how to have a collaboration between academia and industry. I have seen a lot of issues a lot of issues that a problem of industry can be solved with the innovative minds of students. So somewhere the gap is there. So the last presentation was nice. So I think if that can be taken further, it would be nice. Now coming to my presentation for today, it's a bit a long one. Try to make it very short. I have been quite researching on this COVID thing from the time it actually started being reported, maybe late February onwards. And I am a big blogger. You will find me in LinkedIn. So I have been following the entire development that's happening around the world since that time, both in South Asia and Western countries, including Russia, America, and Middle East and Russia. And it is really very fascinating. It's a once in a lifetime kind of a situation, which has actually excited me to understand this, how it is shaping the humanity and shaping the economy of this globe itself. Now, coming to today's topic, how it is going to impact
माझ्याकडे तुझं माझ्याकडे येणार असेल तर मग कर काम काय प्रॉब्लेम नाही ती पण नाही तुझं नेन पप्पा कधी यावं त्यामुळे
So please mute themselves.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir.
So this is a disclaimer. The entire presentation is my own. I have taken some excerpts from various studies, and it reflects my own, not my organization's view. This is something statutory I need to take. So my current focus will be how to reboot India. India is such a unique country compared to any other country. We are neither communist fully nor capitalist fully. Neither we are a very developed nation, nor we are a completely poor nation. Neither we have a small density of population, not too high. Of course, we have a huge density of population. We have our own unique issues. Yeah, are you able to see my presentation? No, I have to share, no?
So please share your screen, sir.
I forgot that. Sorry. Are you able to see now?
No.
Are you able to see?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me put it now. Is it okay?
Okay, sir. Perfect.
Okay. So till now, till the COVID happened, and COVID happened so rapidly, so fast, we were just joking about certain WhatsApp images coming from China, how people are dropping dead. I said we were joking, it is all fake WhatsApp, but we never knew that it is going to catch us. I remember February 6th, I was going to Goa for a holiday, and in the airports, I found a lot of people with the mask. I was really worried, why am I not wearing the mask? So obviously those chaps had gone to probably Singapore or other places. They were understanding, but we never knew it is going to impact the entire globe in such a way. Now, just pre-COVID, up to January, we were about to start seeing a better growth. Our growth, which could have been a 7% GDP, were only 4.7%. Because of various reasons, and the way we watched up our demonetizations and also GST back to back, though they were for good reasons, somehow our implementations and ill timing, and apart from that, we introduced BS6 all of a sudden, and we also pushed electric vehicle, all kinds of policy things. Then insurance also came back very heavy way. So and auto sector came down, which contributes to 50% of the GDP. So it all pulled us down to 4.7%. But no matter, we were trying to solace ourselves, saying that yes, those are good things to be done, and it caused us a little pain. Now is the time to have a better trajectory. But nobody knew an enemy, an invisible enemy called Corona, is going to affect us. Look at how it has impacted us. We are a highly connected country, and two major countries who are connected to us are USA and China, both in terms of import and export, and also Spain, Italy, France, Germany, Switzerland, and they are all COVID countries, and they are also very much connected to us. South Korea, Iran, they are all connected, and together we have about $3 trillion business, and out of which almost 2 trillion is import and 1.5 trillion is export. So such a vivid and lively economy is suddenly impacted, and it is largely impacted by China. So between February to April, China was trying to come back, okay, but the dependency on China is called the cloud kitchen of manufacturing for entire world, and I never knew that we are so much dependent on that country, and suddenly the supply chain got affected. So our production started getting impacted immediately in the month of March. Fortunately, China has opened up again. But we are struggling to open up. But we need to brace up. We have to see that what kind of raw materials we'll be needing in the coming next quarter, and are we having the order placed on them properly or not. Whether we like China or we don't like China, whether we like USA or don't like USA, we have no other go but to get connected with them and stay with them and move forward before we get into some other strategy. The way the problem has happened so far, we are in the deep recession now, and we'll come to that why such a deep recession, and it may take about 1 year minimum to 2 years or 3 years to come back to the pre-COVID era, and significant downgrading of our GDP has been done. The minimum downgrading is that the minimum impact that we can have in the best case scenario will be $348 million. And the worst case scenario will have about $27 billion. So from minimum 348 to 27 billion is a huge difference, but that's the kind of swing that can happen. Let's look at what kind of dependency we have on China. Fortunately, China has opened up, but it's very revealing that we are so dependent on China. We say Make in India has to be so good, but look at the entire chemicals. We are dependent on China. Without disinfectant, we cannot run our agriculture. The disinfectants have to come from China. Similarly, without APIs, that is raw material for our pharma, we cannot run our pharma industry. And we say we are the best manufacturer of pharma, but look at how we are interconnected. Our dependencies on China, on electronics, even on metals, even on precision instruments, rubbers, plastics, everywhere, automotive components. So we are dependent on China. Fortunately, China has opened up, and this part is getting de-risked. Now, looking at the way we are gone into lockdown, now 40 days over, and some more lockdown will be happening. And most of our economic regions are all metros, and they are getting under lockdown. So the consumptions are going to be drastically reduced. And because of that, top credit rating companies have now downgraded our credit. And now they're telling our growth rate will fall down to somewhere around 5.1%, whether it is Moody, OECD, UBS, Barclays, or Fitch. Everybody is telling, and this may further go down if we continue to stay on the lockdown conditions for long. Which are the sectors they are telling? Automotive will be maximum impacted because that's in the value chain in the top, and telecom will be the minimum impacted. Healthcare I think it will get a boost actually in terms of only COVID healthcare. But in terms of all other healthcare, it will take a negative beating, and the earning will be under severe pressure because all the private hospitals are also being converted to COVID care centers. So they are also going to have a lot of financial problems, and people are afraid to go to hospitals. FMCG, yes, initially very, very poor, but I think it is going to catch up. IT will depend on global conditions because we can work from home. Power also will get a very bad this thing because all malls and every big power consuming sections will be shutting down for some time. And automotive, definitely people will stop buying automobile for the time being and defer it. So that will also. Over and above that, we have other sectors like construction and fintech and capital markets, which I have not shown here. But this is the kind of overall impact that's going to have. Now they say, in case we have best case, moderate case, and worst case, and that is something called hypothetical case. Now, best case, moderate case, worst case, these three cases are based on how we have handled COVID. Are we flattening or not? If we are delaying our flattening to say 7 to 8 months, then it will be worst case. But if you cannot flatten at all and we have a runaway kind of increase in the COVID spread, which is happening in USA, then we may get into the hypothetical worst case where we can have a negative impact of 29,917 million US dollar getting depleted as a GDP. It's a huge, but that's very hypothetical. And if you look at sectors, agriculture, business, light and heavy manufacturing, hotels, transport, you find that hotels and transport, they're badly impacted. They're hugely impacted. They together will take up the negative impact of about 30 to 40%. So that's the worst affected sector. Now, there are 4 vectors which is affecting us now. One is the supply disruptions from China. Fortunately, China has opened up. Fortunately, the ports have started opening up. And we know that the consignments do not have COVID, and we have methods to kill the COVID germs at the port itself. You know, disinfectants are being used. But if you leave it for about 3 days, 4 days on the open field, then it's going to die. So supply disruptions from China may not be that much, but supply disruptions from Germany, from Europe, and from USA, yes, we may have some disruptions there. Now, global and domestic demand. Global demand, right now, definitely USA is in a very bad shape. So any kind of demand from USA is going to go down. Even Europe is also in a very bad shape. So it is going to go down. It's only one silver lining is China. Provided China starts earning, China is also going to go down in its demand, because if it doesn't earn much, because China is so connected to the external world with a lot of psychological problems now, we don't know, but will they continue to earn the way they were earning earlier? Already minus 30% they are into. So the demand on global is going to be very subdued, and immediately domestic demand, you know that we are all in the reluctant conditions. People will be very, very careful. They will defer their high value consumptions. They will only go for the frugality and sustenance living. So the demand on both global and domestic will be under serious stress. Banking, yeah, banking is flush with liquidity, a lot of money. Government, RBI has given, and RBI has purchased a lot of bonds and given to them money. Now, but bank has been suffering so much. You know about a lot of scams in the bank in the last 1.5 years. So much of money and bad and NPA. So they are very, very finicky in giving. No matter how much government says, give the credit line open, give the debt, don't declare it NPA for a long period. They'll be under pressure from the government to do so, but they'll be under psychological pressure not to give. So they'll be under severe stress there. Capital markets, already minus 30%, and it will take a long time to come up. Coming to the falling oil prices, yes, oil prices because of the fighting between Russia, USA, and United Arab Emirates. We are gainer. Government is gaining, but government is not passing on to the consumers. It is increasing, in fact, the prices. That will help government to take that money out and to put into the COVID economy better. But then it will also drive the price up because they are not passing on to the consumers. Now, looking such a scenario, we are looking how many months or years it will take to come back to the green zone. So we're looking at the quarters, GDP growth, and the inflation. So we have got best case scenarios, medium case scenario, and worst case scenario. Pessimistic. So in the pessimistic, it may go up to 22, 23, FY 23, last to come back to, that means 3 years from now. In the medium case, 2 years from now. In the best case, if you start getting into run mode from say July onwards properly, maybe by end of 21, 22, we can come up. So, but the best case seems very least likely. The medium case seems to be more practical. FICCI on the other side, so when I'm showing Deloitte, FICCI on the other side has also done a lot of work, and he have found that industry has started losing money. April is almost zero. And a lot of people have come to the government saying that please help us out. We'll come to that. We'll discuss that further. And work from home is not that easy except IT. Even in IT, a certain part of the IT also unsecure to work from home. Banking is not that secure to work from home. So work from home only can take around 10% of our working. So we need to find a way how to work in the physical, the touchless way, caring way, but in the physical way also. Digital, physical, both will have to survive. Now, one of the high impact area is travel and tourism and pharma. Now, pharma, I think will take a big focus now in India because everybody is talking about vaccine and antibodies and testing labs, healthcare, PPEs. No, pharma and medical care is going to take a big jump as far as COVID is concerned. And regular medicines also, we are the best manufacturer in the world. But problem is, why it is high impact is, as I told you, we depend on China for the raw materials. So this is the time for us to think in terms of, how to do import substitution. Why we cannot make APIs in India? The next one is the travel. Everybody is afraid of traveling. International travels are stopped, domestic travels are stopped. Social distancing is difficult to do, and having disinfectants and all that being used at the airport. It's a very capital intensive, and ATF wells are very costly. And even if you don't operate, also there's a huge outflow of the money without any inflow. Heavily fixed cost oriented is aviation. And the travel also is going to take a beating. People are all in the homes. Nobody wants to go out. What happens to such big hotels and such restaurants? And if it's small and big, everybody, and a lot of them are going to fold up, and a lot of job losses are going to take place. So one is in the pharma, we should be able to make our raw materials better. And in the travel and tourism, we have to reinvent ourselves, how to attract customers. So my call, because all of you are from the academia, the value add that I'm trying to do from my address is that we need to understand how the economy is going to shape. Hence, which are the job opportunities areas we must find out. And like my previous speaker was talking about, which areas the entrepreneurship opportunities are going to come up. So if you are very innovative in travel and tourism, probably you can actually find a new opportunities in that. Even in the pharma also, people will like the biotechnologists will like to get into those raw material manufacturing business. Now, as I said, 85% dependencies on China, so that has to be taken care of. And government has already created a team to look at what is the stock that we have, because drying out of the drugs can drive up the prices like anything, and you know how much people will die out of other diseases other than COVID. In fact, COVID will become insignificant gradually if you don't take care of few things. As I said, tourism and hospitality is going to be very badly impacted. Job losses is going to happen. Layoffs are going to happen. There's no way they can sustain such a high capital intensive investments in terms of buildings, infrastructure, salaries. So a lot of government incentives should be needed for them. And even for aviations also government incentives will be needed. In aviations, you know, they are telling about $113 billion will be the loss to the entire world. And the airfare have fallen by 20 to 30% already now. But there's a chance that it may go up. There'll be some kind of, you know, balancing out that may happen once we start our traffic again. But starting the traffic means again calling the COVID to come back again. So there will be going to be, some people say that it will be start, stop kind of thing. So that would mean that the fund position for the aviation will be very bad. So a lot of suggestions are there. So ATF fuel surcharge has to be taken out. Let it be included into GST. The taxes for airport uses has to be brought down. Debt restructuring should be done. Then there has to be moratorium period for the repayment of the debt. So many such guidelines have been already given to the government. Can somebody remove this C waiting room, please? It's affecting my. Two people have entered waiting room.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Remove.
Either admit or remove. Yeah.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes.
So next is. Sorry.
Yes, sir, we stopped. Now it's okay, sir. You can go ahead.
Yeah.
Sir.
So similarly, hotel sections, lot of cancellations has happened. April onwards, April, May, June is a very nice travel time. You know, even medical travel to India had been a growth area. So all of them are going to go into stress. We call MICE, that is meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. So a lot of exhibitions and conventions were supposed to happen in India, like, you know, Mobile World Congress, Google, Facebook, all that is going to stop now, and a huge loss. So they also need some kind of a concession in terms of fees and deferment of the statutory dues. So that's all government is. Entertainment, you know, the malls are going to close and the theaters are going to close for a long period now. So this is going to actually reinvent itself, you know, direct to home like Netflix and OTT are going to go up. You know, Netflix valuation has gone above the best valued petrochemical company called Exxon. So that's the kind of change is happening. So people into technology and the usage of technology in terms of entertainment is going to go up like anything. But what happens to such a huge amount of worker labor? I mean, millions of them who are in the Bollywood and into the hotels and into tourism and into IPL, you know, what will happen to them? So government has to take care of them and also find ways and means how to again bring back this industry with proper sanitization, proper care. So one thing that's going to go up is that, you know, tie up with all this industry with the medical industry, the hospital industry. Hospitality and hospital both have to be tied up so that, you know, we have proper certification done. Asymptomatic cases are also tested out. Only people with proper immunity systems are allowed to come in. All kinds of certifications are going to go. So a lot of innovations are going to happen in this. These two industries have to come up. If they sit idle and don't innovate, nothing can happen. So they have to innovate. Another significant area is electronics, which is our mobile phones and a lot of electronic goods. We are again dependent on China. Gems and jewelries, China used to buy maximum from us. Probably they will continue to buy, but if their sentiments are down, that will also be affected. China used to buy our seafood from Kerala. That is also going to be affected. So it's all looks as if, when I was studying, it is that if China prospers, we prosper. If China goes down, we go down. I mean, this is something we have to think about now. We are such a big country with such a huge manpower resources, and why are we so China dependent? We have to look at it. Petrochemicals, yes, we'll get a good this thing. But again, petrochemicals, we get 30% of the petrochemicals from China also. India exports to China. So if that comes down, then we'll have a problem. So why not take this opportunity and start manufacturing electronics component in India? This is one area. Make in India, bolna acha hai, but make in India really hota hai kya? I don't think so. I mean, we got stuck somewhere in the past. We are hugely automotive industry in the country, and some retail industry, but retail manufacturing, low value manufacturing, textile manufacturing, but in between, high to medium term manufacturing in terms of electronics, battery manufacturing, even in aeroplanes, except that fighter aircrafts that we make, we don't make any civil aircrafts properly. So in the value chain of manufacturing, we are stuck in one particular area called automotive and not much. So this is the time it shows how we are vulnerable in manufacturing. So that brings me to my area called auto components and automotive and agriculture. Agriculture, I'm very sentimentally involved because we take food and farmer suicide. I mean, that's nothing can be worse than that kind of fate in a country where people survive and the feeder dies. Somehow the COVID has just turned the table. The focus is on agriculture. Government is now trying to know that too much of urbanization is such a dreadful thing. The economy must move to rural areas. We must look at making farmers also wealthy. So I think that's one positive side that is going to take. But again, for our disinfectants, pesticides, we are dependent on China. Auto components, about 25% of our auto component is dependent on China. So hopefully China will start producing. And ironically, a biggest chunk of auto components come from Hubei or Wuhan, jahan se this COVID started. But fortunately, Wuhan is now COVID free, and we may be able to get those components. But we may get the components. Supply chain side is good, but what is the demand side from us? We'll come to the demand side later on. The demand side in the automotive will be initially bad because people will stop buying vehicles now. But people will also like to know that they don't want to go for the public transport now. Social distancing and being afraid of catching this, they will have to have a private vehicle, like these two-wheelers or three-wheelers, small cars is going to come back again. So that way, the current loss is very high. As I told you, auto industry took a very bad beating in terms of BS4 to BS6 transitions, the price going up through the roof because of the mandatory insurance purchase, registration fees, and 30% hike because of BS4 to BS6. So on the top of that, people deferred buying because they were thinking, they'll get a huge discount on the April, and you know what happened to April. And suddenly the things have changed, but we cannot go back. We have to start selling high cost vehicles now, but when the sentiment is so bad. So it's going to be a double whammy for the auto sector. It will take a long time to warm up. But in this auto industry, the biggest problem would be for even the dealers are not able to open up their dealership. FADA, that is Federation of Automobile Dealer Association, is telling that I don't have proper stock with me, and how do I start marketing myself? How do I find my demand? So a lot of digital based demand creation is going to happen. I'll talk about it later. Agriculture, I saw a lot of focus has been on the agriculture because it's the minimum thing that is essential, and the focus has been on it. My only thing is that the Essential Commodity Act must go away. Niti Aayog was about to do that, but they have not done it, thinking that farmers are going to hoard and create problem. Why somebody will hoard if you have a good mechanism? I mean, sometimes we kill because of bad policies. So hopefully people will look at it and agriculture business and make farmers more happy. We take the middleman out, and probably a lot of platforms are developing where you can direct to the home can be done. The mandis have to be reduced. Too much mandis, too many people converse there. So entry into mandi, getting out of mandis, vegetable mandis getting registered and properly managed is going to the post-COVID scenario. Now, only making agriculture food is not going to help. We have to make the manufacturing of packaging and also logistics. Now, 50 lakh trucks are, how they were stranded on the highways, and railway freight is also reduced, and air freights are also being used for emergencies now. So government is fully focused on this. My positive take out of this is this government will, because this is what makes the artery to run. And if the arteries are choked, then even into green zone, orange zone, or red zones, the movements have to happen. No matter whether it is a containment zone or a red zone, the food has to arrive, the vegetables have to arrive, the essential stuff to arrive. So all that is going to happen. This transportation is going to be taken care of by the government itself. But that needs organizing these migrant workers who have gone away. They have to be brought in, they have to be registered, they have to be taken care of. So that is one part of it. Second part of it, how to start up our aviation and train journey and the bus journey. I am finding surprisingly the train started already. I mean, they are starting from Delhi to major cities now. And the bus also started in Maharashtra, has declared bus transport across. So it is very clear that government of India very uniquely is going to breast this COVID much more ferociously, courageously, no matter how ferocious is the COVID, and get into that. They will not allow them to. So that's why I'm telling you, I will not get into the worst case scenario, definitely. Not even the best case, but definitely will be the middle somewhere. Coming to the FMCG's market, can you please take out the waiting room? Food and beverages, they are the first one to recover. I mean, all the food arriving to us, all the beverages arriving to us, that will be taken care of through e-commerce and Kirana markets. So there is going to be a lot of consolidation between the Kirana markets and the e-commerce players. Even Swiggy's and Zomatos are going to also join them. And JioMart is one which is evolving in that direction. So the food part will be taken care of. Coming to the retail, buying the clothes and footwears and all that. So once e-com get into the picture, that also will happen. People will not go to big malls to buy them, but smaller ones, they may go with the proper social distancing done. So retail that way will try to reinvent more from offline to online. So FMCG also will need some manufacturing. So there has to be a factories opening up. Consumer durables, so essentials are like food and beverages, whereas consumer durables are non-essentials. So far they have been not been allowed to sell, but hopefully it will start. But once it starts, the price part, we are not very sure whether it's going to go up, because certain inventories are there which they were to destock now. The price may come down, but if China supplies are not there, then the price will go up. So it is this area is something we have to look at. So again, FMCGs and essential non-essential are dependent on e-commerce. Let's go ahead. Medical devices are going to be costly to us. Mobile phones are going to be costly to us. E-commerce. Now, this is one area which is going to go up like anything. But the problem they had was that they were using delivery boys, which is not very organized. Now they have to organize those delivery boys, take care of the health of the customer, as well as these innovate how touchless it can be, both essential and non-essential. It is not only the sale, it is also the service. So service also will go through the e-commerce way. Capital markets, yes, it is under severe stress now, but none of the suggestions have been implemented. So I was also thinking that the market timings has to be reduced. Certain regulatory things should come so that people should not play around. This is the time the big dadas will start playing around, pull the market up, bring it down again. All that kind of stuff can happen. So it needs more of regulations now. Education, which is your area. This is also very, 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 this thing, it has impacted the school boys very badly. A lot of tensions and a lot of concerns in the families about the academic years and the way they used to be. Colleges, institutions used to be once upon a time a place for the socializations, which is a part of the need of the human psyche. So I believe it is going to be a innovation area. You people have to look into it. You need a lot of internet bandwidth for this, and you also need the students also to have that. So you can have an institution. How would you ensure the students have the proper bandwidth at home? What happens in rural areas? So somebody has to look into that. Maybe here government also need to look into how do we subsidize the price of bandwidth for the students to consume. This needs a lot of government and academia discussions about the new unfolding, and a lot of buildings that you have now have to be converted to virtual. It has to be a virtual library, and virtual classrooms, and you have to use Zooms, Teams, Google Meets, Google Hangouts, and a lot of stuffs, where and you need live streaming, whiteboarding, even brainstorming, and all that stuff is to be needed through the digital mode. So you have to reinvent in this area. This is about financial. The currency. It's good thing about the COVID is that our emphasis on the digital currency is going to be much more now. Even in the rural areas, penetrations are going to increase now. I remember I went and took some ATM money just before the lockdown, thinking that probably some people have to pay through the cash, and it's not, still I have not touched a single paisa out of that, because it's one of the most easy way to have the contagion. So so long as COVID is there and the contagion is possible, so it will be, now the government will be pushing it more and more. Now below 2,000 rupees you don't pay any transaction cost. Probably that will go up now to 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees. They have to look into that. And private security force, let us leave it. Real estate, yes, definitely the real estate was the one after RERA and a lot of controls that came, and people, this was uncontrolled industry where a lot of black money was getting generated. That came under a severe stress last 3-4 years. A lot of people went into the jail actually, and a lot of scrutiny happened, and gradually it was trying to look up at this point of time when the COVID happened. So it's going to affect a lot of jobs, migrant workers, construction sites. But I believe the government is intended to start it up again. But it will be low-cost housing that will be going to gain more importance. People will look for housing anyway. And we need to see the housing is one of the priority areas. Otherwise, all these migrant workers, why they have to walk hundreds of kilometers back to their hometown when they spend 70% of the time in the places where they worked. So something is extremely wrong in terms of our focus. So even the real estate problem will affect our paint industry like Asian Paints, and various other cement industries, and everything will get impacted in the short period. But once we allow the construction to happen, this is going to take up. And I don't think real estate will now anymore enjoy the kind of premium they used to charge. They will come to the normal industries type, hardly 15% or 10%, 15%. They used to be 50-60% of EBITDA or more than that. MSME is one area which is going to affect our manufacturing, and you know how OEMs like Bajaj Auto, Tata Motors, Mahindra, and everybody have outsourced the manufacturing to a huge auto component manufacturing society, and they run on the very thin margin of profit, and they sit on a huge fixed cost because we have outsourced, means we have outsourced our fixed cost to them. So they have very capital intensive. So unless they get working capital loan for a longer period, that GST's earnings have to be given back to them. Only GST payment can be deferred, debt repayment can be deferred. All this government is looking into. Without that, MSMEs will go to. It also needs land reforms and labor reforms for the global players to start participating. We have an opportunity. China is being now very much doubted. So this is the time we can actually start asking FDIs to come in and start looking at manufacturing in India. Power, yes, power will be impacted, but not that badly because still consumption should be very high from home. And but the malls and all going down is going to impact this. But malls my take is they also will reinvent how to bring people in so that they feel safe. There are various methods in which the footfalls will come down, but per footfall cost will be very high. So that way we will reinvent all these economies. Publishing, less for me, I don't like publishing. I have stopped taking newspapers now. So why should we need papers? The less the paper, better is good for the earth. But still, we have a lot of industries in this, and we are still depending upon China for a lot of raw materials. Renewable energy, again, we are dependent on China for the solar. So hopefully that will come, but it's a very, very capital intensive industry. It's going to be stopped for a year. Textiles, once upon a time we used to be very proud about our textile, but we still import huge synthetic rayon and synthetic fabric from China. Why can't we start doing it ourselves? So this is the time that we have to think. Otherwise, we know we converted textiles to make PPEs. We are one of the best PPE manufacturing country in the world today. Because we could convert all this textile industry into the PPE manufacturing. But export-wise, Bangladesh and Vietnam is going better than us. So we need to take into account why they are doing better than us, because the FDIs are better. For example, Jara fashion industry is largely located in Myanmar. Why not in India? So they sell in India, manufacture in Myanmar. Why can't they manufacture in India? Because they don't feel like doing business in India. Our rate tapism, our labor acts and all that. So Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh have taken a step towards this. So probably land reforms and labor reforms is going to help us. So a lot of government interventions are happening about stock availability of essential items, e-commerce, making sure that e-commerce is the touchless and able to reach to every home. And restarting our logistics. As I told you, logistics, it was suddenly stopped down, and now they have done non-urban consumptions. Now the consumptions have to go to the rural areas. We have to put the money in the hands of the people in the rural areas. So Manrega and other means are being seen now to directly have the money to go to them. We may monetize now and pay to them, make them the proprietorship, make them owner of properties, and they feel. So the prosperity has to go to rural areas if we have to survive. And then offline to online solutions have to now come. So government monetary stimulus is needed. So one is to this bottom of the pyramid, they have to get the money. And the second, MSMEs have to get a lot of incentives in terms of debt and zero interest rate. Fiscal rates or interest rates have to come down for consumer sentiments to go up. Plus GSTs has to be rationalized and reduced. Now, FICCI has given a lot of huge amount of policy recommendations. I'll not get into that, but let's see what is the evolving trend, so that academia should concentrate. So if you see in our cell, we have a first reach, then awareness, and then the purchase, and then the retention. Now from reach to purchase sale, so all traditional kind of marketing is going to go away. It will be e-commerce, social platforms, internet live streaming, private communications, direct to customers, customer segmentations, customer tracking, and also virtual reality, virtual showrooms, and making word of mouth through gamifications and direct calling to the customers, making delivery at home, service at home, service at doorstep, test ride at society. So this kind of a new kind of era will start where people will stop going to the showrooms and start enjoying buying from the home. So once that kind of market evolves, so we have to have three parts in this new evolution of the market. The players will be, one is the product itself, product introduction, then the customer, the way customer behavior is changing, the partners who are helping us to sell, the channel stores through which we are selling, and the marketing that's going to happen. So currently we have to navigate and innovate in these areas. Product has to be value for offering. Customer will be now more on online. And marketing has to be now more empathetic, saying that how we care for you, care for your health, and start associating brand with care. And channel stores will be now smaller stores, and maybe they will not have stocks. They will only bring to you to your doorstep. Once that happens, once that happens, we'll have to once we are getting into stabilization period where we know now the new normals have happened, the behaviors have changed, the customers have changed their methods, the channels have been different. Then we have to stabilize there. We have to know which one is giving us a better value for money, better EBITDA, better customers, better channels, and start consolidating in that area, sustain that area through our processes with them. And just 1 second. I am still in a meeting. I'll come back to you, please. Thank you. Then comes your last is the drive. Drive means now you know that this is the way the future is shaping. So you have to start designing your product accordingly. The new customer preferences. You have to also see that now you're dealing so much, so much of China dependencies have to go away, and the supply chain has to be more de-risked. And then your partners also have to be aligned with your strategy, so that they also embrace digitality much better way. Call centers, contact centers, talking to the customer, analytics, understanding customer behavior, tracking customers very specifically, going to him. All that they also should do. They cannot say that I'm just a dealer, and all that. Even the back-end supply chain have to realign with us digitally, and we have to make India as a manufacturing hub. So already a lot of things have started. I know Bajaj Auto also started our manufacturing already. We have started taking care of the health. We are working from home. I have seen my productivity has gone up by working from home. I don't know. And easy to meet, do brainstorming, do designing, do testing, even adoption with the users, everything working from it as far as IT is concerned is very good. Travel restrictions have come. A lot of meetings and all human meetings have been reduced. Raw materials have been stockpiled, and daily the discussions are happening downstream, upstream for the planning, and various ways we are mitigating. So at the end, I will say the pandemic has created issues for us. At the same time, opened a lot of opportunities for us. If we can be very smart, very innovative, we can be very resilient, and we can come out of it stronger. Thank you. That's my end of my talk.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
So it was really mesmerizing session. Mr. Rajiv Kumar Jena, sir.
Yeah.
We heard the key speaker. Sir, as you mentioned that your PPT is original, made by you. So whatever you speak as a key speaker, so you have given so many keys, not only one key, so many keys that will be helpful for us to face the COVID-19 pandemic, sir. So thank you very much. So if you allow me, sir, I have written 2 lines for you originally.
Yeah, thank you.
That, as you have covered so many things, so many points in just very limited time. So it is in Urdu. हम तो नदी से ही सैराब थे, हम तो नदी से ही सैराब थे, आपने तो समंदर पेश कर दिया. So, that is my original 2 lines. So, you know, we were not expecting, your session was more than expectation. Thank you very much, sir. And we got so many positive responses. Your session is highly appreciated by all the participants. So there are so many questions, but I will take only one question.
Yeah.
Related to your session, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What would you like to say about the negative impact on China due to this situation, due to COVID-19 situation, negative impact on China, sir?
It's a big topic, yeah. Okay, I've been doing a lot of.
That's why I've written Samandar line for you, sir.
Okay, so see, culturally, China, say from outside, nobody is going to like China, right? You know, they are in a very closed society, and they are used to a command and hierarchy from the top. There's no democracy there, and it is you cannot call it autocracy also in the way, because they're very populist in their approach, and they take people along. But they have been let us go back 20 years. First 10 years, they did not bother about intellectual property right. They wanted all the knowledge to come to them, and they will copy it. They dictated manufacturing. They became the cloud kitchen for the entire world. But everybody knew that China quality is very poor. But the next 10 years, so 2000 to 2010, they established manufacturing. 2010 to 20, they established quality. And in between, they have established one good thing which we don't do, that they have established education, huge education, and very quality education. Now, they knew they cannot differentiate unless they have innovative products for them. So today, if you see electric vehicles, they have innovative. 5G, they are innovative. Infrastructure, they're best in the world. So you just cannot just look away from them and say they have created this coronavirus, and probably this is a biowar, which is a lot of fake news that is going on. Nobody has seen that, you know. And another thing, can you just run away now? It's not possible. You have to have a strategy. So dependency on China is going to be there for coming 3 years. But this is an opportunity for everybody, not only us, USA also. Look at USA, how miserable they are today. Now they manufacture aircrafts, okay? They manufacture nuclear bombs. They manufacture whatnot, but they cannot manufacture in chloroquine tablets. They have to take it from India. So that's the kind of, you know, skewness they have created for themselves. So they will also look into this. China, Europe also will try to look into this. But nobody can just run away from China immediately. But yes, China will be little secluded. People will look at China saying that we are becoming over-dependent on it. So, and that's a good thing to happen, because if somebody becomes too powerful, we human beings have this trait of being Dada. So we had only one Dada now, USA. Now we have another Dada called China. Two Dadas, you know, they can create a third world war. Who knows? I mean, this is what has happened earlier also. So it's better that we avoid a world war. It is better that we come together, better that we are collaborating with each other. We make China to also behave well, and we have to make also all of us to behave in a particular way. So we need a better world leadership today. United Nations and the brotherhood of that has to also take care of it properly. So I think it will be a different world once we come out of the pre-COVID. But we cannot run away from China for 3 years, for sure. I think a bit longest answer to you, but a lot of things are there inside.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
But China and USA keep fighting with each other, will not be supported by the rest of the world. I'm telling you. Yes. So they will similarly come out of USA. If USA also continues that trade war, and if they keep fighting and we are locked onto both of them and suffer, that cannot continue to happen. So people will find different markets, different collaborations, different, entire Africa can become one. You know, Asian countries, including Australia, have become a very big, but usme China hai. So either China behaves well and stay with them. We also can join them. We were about to join, but came out. We have to relook at every kind of association that we can have. India has to have only one, cannot fight with anybody. They have to collaborate and survive, including China. That's my take.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. This webinar is also one kind of collaborative activity, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Now we have one more question to other speakers. Mr. Rajiv Kumar Jena, sir, thank you very much. Now, can we have KVJ Professor Dr. R. Ganesan? We have one question for you. That do you think that entrepreneurship development will act as measures to overcome post COVID-19 problem?
I think sir is not there, sir.
Okay, okay, sir is left. Okay, no problem. Then we have last question. That should we accept bank's moratorium offer? It is related to bank.
To whom, sir?
Sridhar sir is there?
Yes, sir. Who?
Mr. S. Sridhar sir.
Just a minute. Let me check.
Is he there? Here, till then we have some couple of announcement that we'll be having photo session after this.
Sir, Sridhar sir is there, sir.
Yeah,
Vakil
Sir is there. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Sridhar sir is there.
Yeah.
Sir, very interesting question. I repeat the question.
Yeah.
That bank is giving moratorium loan offer. So should we accept that or not? What is your opinion, sir?
Yeah, if you need it, do accept it, because definitely everybody is under stress, and by accepting the moratorium, you get some breathing space. So, but if you don't need it, then there is really no point in accepting it. You might as well, pay off the thing on the due time. Because this is only for people who are under stress because of the COVID. And in general, if you're not under stress, and just because it is available, it is not necessary for one to take.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
There is also announcement that Pune College is having 2 days global webcast on 15th and 16th of May. 15th and 16th of May. So we will be contacting you on your Telegram channel. So please don't leave your Telegram channel. We are going to continuously keeping updated. Only educational related message will be posted there. So I request all the participants to be ready for the photo session. May I request all the participants to start your video, switch on your video. We have some more questions, but due to lack of time, we cannot ask all the questions. Let us have ready for the photo session. Please start your videos. If it is possible, take a snapshot and send it to my personal WhatsApp number. You all be having my WhatsApp number. You can also send us email.
We'll send screenshots, sir. Don't worry.
Okay, okay. And regarding certificate, so after the program concludes, we already shared the link, or we will also share the link on your email ID also, and we will give you 1 hour time. So don't be worried about your certificate. So
All of you be ready with your video mode, please, please.
Be ready for all the participants. Please switch on your video. Yes, Ashok Giri sir, would you like to speak something?
Given a very beautiful thoughts, even their thoughts are very good. Lots of new dimensions they have given, and it is really important. So before we are suffering a lot. Before pandemic, right now we are suffering, and after this COVID is over, fortunately. So it is very useful for all the teachers, all researchers, and all over the country. The people will definitely benefited, because all the speakers they have given a wonderful insight and wonderful thoughts. Thank you so much. Hello.
I think Rodney sir is there.
May I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Just Imran sir, just 1 minute. We'll take some photographs.
Yes, yes. I am taking, sir. I am taking here. I am taking screenshots.
Just give me a second.
There are around 8 screens, sir.
Oh, screenshot. Screenshot.
Imran sir, done.
Okay, I have taken all the.
Imran sir, done.
Yes, sir. Many will Leon, sir.
Right.
Okay, okay. Now
वकील सर,
we have come to the last session. Yes, yes.
थोड़ा सा बता दीजिए कैसे लेनी चाहिए सर.
Sorry, sir. Please repeat, sir.
Yeah, how to take the snapshots?
Everybody knows, sir, how to take a snapshot.
Yeah, okay.
Just fine, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
In Samsung mobile, you have to press your button, that small to get at live.
But chat is unmute, sir.
That power button.
And so you can share also link on chat, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because your video
Yeah.
is disabled.
Dr. Ashokgiri, sir, would you like to speak something, sir? Dr.
Hello.
Ashok?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Regarding what?
Do you want to say something, or we shall move to the vote of thanks?
Yes, it's wonderful sessions. I am personally thanks Dr. Aftab Anwar Sheikh for his consistent cooperation and his motivation. And really this Pune College, this Wafia Madam, yeah, Wakil Sir, Ahmed Sir, and all the staff members, even the Dr. Rodney De Silva, the principal of Margao College, they have supported a lot, and we can say that the today's sessions and today's webinar is quite successful only because of all the speakers and the kind and consistent cooperation of Pune College. Thank you so much for all the participants who have joined in this today's webinar, and they will be. I hope that it is very, very important and benefited for everybody. Thank you so much. Hello. Vakil sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Over to Rodney, sir.
Okay, over to Rodney De Silva. De Silva, sir. Hello. Vakil sir.
Rodney, sir, please unmute.
Just give me 1 minute. Unmute, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is my pleasant task to thank the resource person for today's webinar on economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic on India. Firstly, Dr. R. Chandan for his very interesting presentation on sectors to focus on for prosperity in the post-corona devastation. Secondly, Mr. S. Sridhar for his very elaborate thoughts on impact of current pandemic on Indian banking. He gave some very apt strategies for the anticipated turbulent times. Thirdly, Mr. KVJ, Professor Dr. R. Ganesan, for his presentation on the impact of pandemic will have on entrepreneurship and the needs of academia and industry. And the keynote speaker for the day, Mr. Rajiv Kumar Jena, for his very interesting and thought-provoking views on the impact of the pandemic on the Indian economy and the way forward. I thank each and every delegate who has registered for this webinar and contributed towards making it a success and being very proactive audience. My very special thanks go out to my co-coordinators, Professor Syed Wakil Ahmed and Dr. Kishore Desenda. Working with you has been our pleasure and a very enlightening experience. My special thanks also goes out to Dr. Sanjay Gaikwad Wafia ma'am, Goleli Kevi ma'am, Dr. Nasreen, Rupali ma'am, Dr. Imran, Iqbal Sheikh sir, ma'am Jane. Your work behind the scenes is highly appreciated. Thank you, Dr. Hamid Hashmi, for a very elaborate explaining of the theme of the webinar. I thank Principal Dr. Ashok V. Giri of Bharatiya Jain Sangatna College for his very warm welcome address. Dr. Aftab Anwar Sheikh for inspiring us to put together this webinar. So we are most grateful to you for your sincere motivation and constant encouragement to innovate and accept challenges. To my principal, Dr. Preeta Malya and the management of Vidya Vikas Mandal for their unstinted support and giving us a free hand in all activities with respect to this webinar. I thank you all once again and hope the webinar has been fruitful to you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. सर बोलना है आपको अनवर सर.
Just 1 minute, sir. We'll unmute you, Anwar sir. Just 1 minute, sir.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
A wonderful webinar organized by the team. The team has worked for last 1 week, and definitely we have seen the result. Commerce Department, thanks to Dr. Ashok Giri and his team, thanks to Rodney De Silva sir and his team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your support and motivation.
Okay.
Yes, over to Vakil sir. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So I'm very happy to inform you that more than 260 participants have attended through Zoom app and equally through YouTube links. So more than 500 participants have attended this session. So this was a grand successful. Thank you very much for you,
Yes.
for you all
Thank
for
you,
your
sir.
cooperation. All
Thank
will
you, sir.
get the
Thank you so much.
certificate. We will send you the link for certificate. Kindly fill in the feedback form. Feedback form submission is compulsory. So up to 6:30 we will give you time. So up to 6:30, kindly fill in feedback form. You all will get certificate. If you have still any problem, you can contact us on our WhatsApp number and on our email.
So
And
tell them not to share the link. Tell them not to share the link with anyone.
yes, the link is only intended for the participants who have attended and not for others. So we kindly request you not to forward the link, not to share the link. And I'm again to remind you that Pune College is having 2 days global webcast on 15th on 16th May this month. And so we will share the link, the other details on Telegram and emails also. So thank you, Dr. Aftab Anwar Sheikh, Dr. Giri, all the committee members. The
Thank you, sir.
2-day,
Thank you, sir.
the national webinar on economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic on India. It was organized by VVM's Damodar College of Commerce and Economics, Goa, and Bharatiya Jain Sangatna's Arts, Science and Commerce College, Wagoli, Pune. So I again I thank once and all. Thank you very much.
With the help of all Pune College staff members. Vakil sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The staff members of Pune College, they have taken a lot of pains to organize this webinar. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Principal
much,
Dr.
sir.
Anwar Sheikh, Principal Pune College, and all the staff members of Pune College, including our HOD Dr. Nasreen Khan, Dr. Syed Ahmed Hashmi, Wafia Madam, Fahim sir, Imran sir, and all the staff members of Damodar College and DJS College. Thank you one and all.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, shall we end meeting now?
Sure, sure, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir. I'm going to stop meeting now.
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.